All right, Scott, what's going on, man?
Not much. Not much. I'm ready for the game to get here.
Yeah, me too. So,
Yeah.
just real quick, welcome everybody into political football. Taking over here for Iceman and Coach. Next hour, we'll be reading the defense. Iceman will be back for that one, and as he said, maybe Coach will be back too. Scott, I am with you. I am so ready for this game to just be here and to get going. They've been talking about this game for 2 weeks. I feel like everything that's been said about it has been said, which is why we've got some unique ways of looking at it coming up here.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see. You always tend to guide us in a really interesting, good direction. So I'm curious to see where you go, or where we end up. The dog is going to come in here and make a mess of things. I'm just telling you. She's a
Well,
she's a monster.
can't be any worse than some of these takes that we had leading into the season. So yeah, so for the game coming up here, one thing I found interesting, Field Yates tweeted this out. He said the Chiefs this year are 16-3 overall with 546 points scored. The Eagles are 16-3 overall with 546 points scored. They're each their conference's number one seed. They each have 6 all pros, and they each have a Kelsey brother, and their quarterback finished top in the MVP voting. So this is a pretty even matchup between all the people here.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's all fine and well. It's just I don't know how deep you want to get into it, but just I think there are specific advantages or disadvantages, however you want to look at it. I think the Eagles' offensive line and defensive line probably is better than the Chiefs. I don't know if that. Let me try to explain it to where I can even make sense to myself. I think if the I think if the Chiefs hold up on both sides of the ball with their O line, with their D line, they'll be fine today. I know that's a huge if. Like that's like, hey, go out on a limb, right? But like, I do think that the Eagles' defensive line should, especially on the edges, they should be able to get some pressure on Mahomes. And the reality with Mahomes, there he is.
What's up, Cleve?
What's up, fellas? What's going on, fellas?
How you doing?
we were
good. I'm good. I'm on location, bro. It's I think we live in a communist country that I got to do stuff today. Today.
So a couple things.
Today?
I'm in class today.
I hope,
bro. It's the Super Bowl. You could take the day off.
Yeah, so that's in my bills.
So my next question is, why are you calling us from the Alexander Graham Bell Classic Original and not from like a cell phone?
I'm actually on my iPhone 13 here. Am I not coming in clear enough?
No, you kind of sound like you're trying to reach us from Saturn with the distress signal. You're okay.
Is he in one of these balloons that's 60,000 feet over our heads floating around? What's happening?
Oh, I mean,
you
referenced. There we go. Yeah, he references being in a communist country, and then he's in one of these spy balloons. Cleve, are you a Chinese spy?
I cannot either confirm or deny that, sir.
We're already off the rails.
Oh, man. Okay, here we go. Well, Cleve, we were just saying here when we were talking with Iceman and Coach that we had no idea where you would be broadcasting from, and we tried to guess. We guessed the auto repair shop. We guessed the gym. From the deck of the Enterprise was not what I thought, though.
He's here. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I think we lost Cleve for a second there. Cleve, go ahead and give us a call back. I'll put you back on. So Cleve is trying to clandestinely call in from class, just so we can make fun of his awful picks.
It's terrible. I'm going to use that next time. I don't want to talk about something I'm going to have a terrible connection. So what I was saying is the edges. I think the edges of Philly's D line probably can give Mahomes fits, and I think if you look at Mahomes, his history in the Super Bowl, it's not great. Just quarter by quarter stuff. I don't know that he's been like all that great in his 2 Super Bowls. So there's that, and then same token, if the Chiefs' offensive line does give him time, we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see how these teams decide to go about this.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I think the most important matchup in this game is the Chiefs' offensive line against that pass rush of the Eagles, because the Eagles are effectively the 85 Bears at getting after the quarterback.
Yeah.
So, if Mahomes gets sacked blank number of times, the Chiefs lose for sure. Is 3, 4? It's not going to be that high, right?
I don't know that it's even like a sack number, because I think with Mahomes, it's more we have seen this. It's really weird, but there are moments when I can remember looking at him. I want to say last year against the Bengals, there was a moment. It was down at the goal line right before the half, and he threw that little flare out to Tyreek Hill, and it was such a weird decision that he made. And I think it was because he was just paralyzed by the coverage and somewhat a little paralyzed by how much time he had. Like, I'm supposed to be getting pressured here, and I don't know what to do. It's kind of how it looked like what was happening. And, it was a bad indication for what was going on. But I think that's so with Philly. I'm not sure it's about the number of sacks. It's about the kind of pressure that they get. And sometimes it's just being super disciplined in your pressure and not letting him, get creative and make plays outside the pocket. Just keep him in there and make him kind of be super patient and dink and dunk and kind of that stuff. And I think that's a little bit why you move on from Tyreek Hill, is because he forces him to do those kind of things. I would say that Kelsey probably is in line for a huge game. But obviously pressure is a big deal, but I don't know that conventional pressure is the way I would look at how this is going to go today.
Cleve, what do you think some of the most important matchup in this game is for how it's going to go?
I think Kelsey, and I also think just keeping Mahomes from running around in the pocket. I think his leg is better, his ankle is better, so he's going to be the X factor to me. Just extending plays, getting guys open, things. I think he's the hugest concern. If they haven't game plan for him or scheme for him, we've had 2 weeks now to see him get that wheel right, and I'm looking for the Mahomes magic in this situation. On the other side, if we're going to talk both sides, keys here is Hurts playing a part in the passing game and also using his legs for conversions. They need to convert because Mahomes, obviously, we know the 40 is his red zone, and they got to take every opportunity to score. That was Dave actually coined that 40 is like their red zone because every time they would shoot to red zone on their scoring drives, they're at the 40. That's not the red zone.
That's fair.
Hurts, it's kind of playing a complete game, and I think to Dave's point last week or 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry, if he has a half like he had 2 weeks ago, they're gonna get killed. So they need to stay in it, score every opportunity, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown. If they come away with no points, they're gonna get killed because once the Chiefs get rolling, that's gonna be hard to stop that juggernaut from going downhill.
Yeah, it's like with A.J. Brown, too. How are you going to defend that guy? Like, what do you do?
Correct.
Yeah, and you can't really defend him and Devontae Smith or all of them and Dallas Goedert. I actually have a Eagles to win, Dallas Goedert 3 or more touchdowns. It's like $5 to win 800. Because I'm like, if they just focus so hard on taking away A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, maybe we get the crazy Dallas Goedert game, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them playing a little off coverage with Brown because he's not a player you're going to press, and giving safety help to his side of the field. I could see them trying to single up Devontae Smith. I don't know how successful that will be, but I think Jalen Hurts will be locked on A.J. Brown. But in the red zone for them, if they're not running, which is the only fear I have with that bet, Dave, is some of the. I mean, you'd want, those are red zone looks with Goddard, but he is a bit of a wild factor in this game. I think that it'll be really interesting to see how the Chiefs game plan to stop the running game and all their weapons, plus Hurts running too. It's like, this is a really interesting matchup. It just is. I don't really know that there's a great way to look at. I mean, what are the Chiefs going to do? Or I'm sorry, what are the Eagles going to do to stop, like you were saying, Cleve, some of that Mahomes magic? If he gets outside the pocket and he's extending plays and ripping off big plays to Kelsey, I don't know how you defend that. Good luck.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very, very difficult. Speaking of Devontae Smith, here as we're previewing the game before we start reviewing our amazing preseason takes, Devontae Smith has a chance to become the 5th player ever to win the Heisman Trophy, win the national championship, and win a Super Bowl. Can you guys name the other 4? Chat, feel free to help out as well. they might need it. The 4 other players to win the Heisman Trophy, the national championship, and the Super Bowl. No Clev, none of them went to Rutgers.
Jesus. Desmond
Heisman Trophy.
Desmond Howard?
Desmond Howard did not win the national championship.
Oh, they did not win. Okay.
The bullshit
Wow.
pass interference that wasn't called.
Give us a
but
clue. Give me a clue.
two of them happened during my lifetime. All of them happened during yours.
Wow.
Well, that is not helpful at all.
Well, you know what year you're born, so you can at least cut it off there.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. Maybe.
Okay.
Joe Montana won.
None of them are quarterbacks. None are quarterbacks.
Huh.
Has to be a running back.
3 of them are running backs. 3 of the 4 are running backs. Scott, you're going to be kicking yourself here.
Is Emmitt Smith one of them?
OJ?
Emmitt Smith did not win the Heisman Trophy. O.J. Simpson did not win the Super Bowl. He played for the Bills.
Huh.
Yeah. This is like gun to your head, $1 million.
Yeah.
I murdered.
Scott, come on. Where are we from? Who do we root for?
Michigan. I'm trying to think of the 97 Michigan team.
Well, who won the Heisman Trophy?
I have no idea.
From the 97 Michigan team. Clev.
I don't remember what happened yesterday. I have no clue.
Yes, Clev. It's Charles Woodson. Yes.
Yeah, Charles Woodson. Okay.
Okay.
So, so you said 3 were running backs and then 1 was a defensive back. Okay. So the Charles Woodson. Okay.
He really won the Heisman. I forget about that.
Shit, that's hard. Yeah. Yeah, he won the Heisman. Yeah, he beat out
Peyton Manning.
Was it Peyton Manning?
I know he was incredible. He was amazing.
Yeah, he beat out.
Thinking about a defensive back winning the Heisman is kind of crazy to think about.
Okay, so I'll help you guys out here a little bit. The chat's not coming through with any help either. So the other 3 are running backs. 2 of them went to the same school.
Eddie George? No.
No, the Titans did not win the Super Bowl.
You won the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Nor did they win the national championship when he was at Ohio State.
Yeah.
You said 1 in your lifetime and 2 in ours?
Yeah, and so Woodson is one of the ones in my lifetime. The other 2 are before 1983. However, the one in my lifetime, the Heisman Trophy doesn't really count anymore, technically.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I just
Reggie Bush, maybe?
Yes, Reggie Bush.
Okay.
Reggie Bush is one of them. The other 2, so I don't torture you guys any longer, is Marcus Allen and Tony Dorsett.
Yeah.
Jesus. Man.
That's a long time.
Wow. Yeah.
But that goes to show like how difficult this is to do when Devontae Smith has an opportunity to do this. He'll be number 5 if the Eagles win today.
Marcus Allen was USC and Dorsett was Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow. That's trivia,
That's
man.
crazy.
That's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Good list.
Yeah, that's a good list right there. So one last thing I just want to mention here briefly before we get into reviewing our terrible picks from the offseason. Clev, I have a quote for you here from Roger Goodell. I'm going to read the quote. I just want you to give me your thoughts, okay? Quote, when you look at officiating, I don't think it's ever been better in the league. Yes, they are not perfect, and officiating never will be, but it's never been better in our league.
You know my words, criminal at best. Was this in regards to the job on the Bengals?
I think it's just in regards to everything. He was just asked in general about officiating.
A general question about officiating. And yeah. Like, how obtuse could he possibly be? Seriously.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Wow. I mean, wow. Every year there's about 3 or 4 game-changing, altering the history of this league that happens. You know, the Saints non-call pass interference a couple of years ago. I mean, that cost them a Super Bowl berth, basically. Yeah. Every year there's a couple of plays. I agree that it's not perfect. The system is not perfect, but it should never come down to these games being in the hands of officials, or it comes down to something happening. I mean, look what happened with Dak with the ball placement thing when the guy got in the way.
Mm-hmm.
That should have been like, give him a second to bat or give him time to get set. You know, that guy was in the way, not on purpose, but he was just in the way. It cost him a play. It cost him precious seconds.
This is where I think the NFL's stupid, like some of the things they do. Like, you should make the officials members of the NFL. Like, There's no reason that these people are just
Yep.
unaffiliated doctors and lawyers and whatever. It gives people who want to think about the conspiracy stuff an out. I mean, it's like the NFL walking in front of you and saying, "Go ahead and kick me in the nuts." Why would you do that? There's just such a better way to go about things. But I mean, I guess that's Goodell's job to go out and
Lie,
say
shill.
this kind of bullshit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like maybe he does believe that, but I mean, like, wow, that's a high level.
No, I mean, what is he gonna say? What is he gonna say? I mean, to your point, like, is he gonna say, "Oh no, it's shit, and we gotta fix it"? But you
Yeah,
make a great point. They need to make them a part of it. You know, like I keep forgetting that they're not part of the NFL technically.
it's amazing.
And
Isn't it amazing when you think about it? Like, how is that?
103 years, Dave? Is there a reason why that they're not that you could give us?
Probably
That
money.
they're not a part of it.
My guess is financial.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that
Money?
players are already struggling to get their benefits and all this stuff, and it's like this is
Wait a minute, they make
it's amazing.
I've
they're pivotal.
there we go.
Like they what?
So Cleve's cutting out like crazy right there, but I think we all know what he was saying. Basically, the refs are a pivotal
make
part
the
of the
calls.
game. How in the world can you be so concerned about not paying them when they're so important? But the players that used to play are pivotal as well, and they don't want to give them their benefits, as Scott mentioned, and hide all this concussion stuff. And I just think it's par for the course for this league, unfortunately. And I think this is one of the things they really have to really have to work on, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you get a little peek into seeing how the sausage is made, you really don't want to eat the sausage kind of stuff. And, stuff like Goodell saying that kind of stuff is just like, it's just mind numbing how, I mean, maybe it is literally just him walking to the podium and just coming up with some bullshit. Right. But I mean, it could be just, I have to cover for this because we all know how bad it is. And we all know how bad it's getting as it continues to trend worse. But yeah.
So speaking of continuing to trend worse, we made some predictions the day before the season started. And I'm not going to lie, some of these predictions were not terrible. Some of these predictions were truly atrocious. And this might not be as much fun for Cleve as it's going to be for the rest of us. But this is
Shit. All right.
Okay. So we predicted a whole bunch of things here. So we're just going to run through them and, we'll find some interesting things as we go through this. So the first is the award for MVP. Now, Patrick Mahomes won MVP, which seems pretty reasonable, right? Like that seems like something that one of the three of us might have wanted to predict.
Maybe.
But Scott said Josh Allen, Cleve said Lamar Jackson, I said Jalen Hurts. I feel like I got a little robbed, to be honest.
You did. Yeah.
But none of us took who should probably be the person we take, right, Cleve?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, I was surprised what the yardage was for Mahomes. I said it on the last show. That was a sneaky 5,000 yard season.
Yes.
And it's amazing because he has no weapons. And I think that's how we all moved away from him.
That's what blows my mind about it.
Yeah.
Who is he throwing to? Like, wow.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah, but Travis Kelce didn't have 4,500 yards.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, here we go. Offensive Player of the Year. The winner of Offensive Player of the Year was Justin Jefferson. Scott said Jonathan Taylor got hurt. Not much you could do there. I said Justin Jefferson. So this one I got right, which makes Cleve look particularly bad because Cleve said Baker Mayfield.
Let's move on.
No. Let's hover. Let's dog shit of a pick that was. Let's hover over the dog shit that was.
What were you thinking?
I mean, I was thinking that he had something to prove going to Carolina, and I thought he had something to prove. I was like, you know what, massive chip on the shoulder.
Still does.
Like he's been cast off for dead. It was a make it or break it situation for him. So I was like, you know what, this guy's gonna go show and prove, and he needs a fresh start. And he has CMC and a couple other guys there. That's why I said that.
Okay, so Cleve, I don't want to I always worry in my older age of as coming off as condescending. I don't really want to do that, but can I just suggest next year you don't pick the Carolina Panthers third string quarterback as offensive player of the year?
Wow.
Point taken. Point taken.
Just a little friendly suggestion there. Defensive player of the year. The winner was Nick Bosa. Scott and I both said Joey Bosa. That's half a point, right, Scott?
You should be.
Just get the wrong Bosa. Now, Cleve, do you remember who you took for defensive player of the year? It was not terrible.
Was it Sauce?
No, but you did take Patrick Surtain the second.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Same idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I Surtain didn't come close to winning that award, but spiritually, I think you're in the right vein. Like, Surtain is one of the top 3 corners in the league right now, Scott.
I think so. I mean, he's a young ascending player who's already really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's kind of the model for which you would take top 10 corners. You'd want
yes, absolutely. So now we've made fun of Cleve, but now somebody else is coming in for it. Offensive Rookie of the Year. The Offensive Rookie of the Year was Garrett Wilson, wide receiver for the Jets. Congrats to Cleve, Jets fan, on that. Scott said Chris Olave, and personally, I think Olave should have won this award, Scott.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I just think Olave was the better receiver all around, but it's close between those two.
Yeah, I mean, Wilson was awesome this year, and he had literally nobody throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
For large chunks. He was amazing. He really was.
Yeah. So that is there. Ben saying that Kenny Walker III got robbed. So during this episode, Ben was in the chat screaming that Walker would win Rookie of the Year. And I told him there was no chance because he had a hernia, was going to miss 4 games. It was the backup to Rashad Penny, and he finished 3rd in the voting. So all around, this is not my best category. Now, Cleve, on the other hand, I think had a really, this would have been a great bet to make. It didn't hit, but Cleve said Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
And I think picking the only quarterback predicted to get real playing time, Cleve was pretty sharp.
Yeah.
So I missed who it was because at a second it just blipped. What was the name?
Oh, you said Kenny Pickett, quarterback for the Steelers.
Yep.
It's a sharp call though.
It was. It didn't end up hitting, but that was one of the most accurate things that you had said. That was sharper. Certainly way sharper than mine. I said Sky Moore, wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, Cleve, that's a real person.
What happened to that guy?
Sky.
Well, you know what's going to happen.
He's going to score tonight.
I had him in 20% of best ball teams. Play him in DFS the first 6 weeks of the season. You know what's going to happen? He's going to go for 2 touchdowns tonight. Is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So he'll just be super expensive again next year. But yeah, Sky Moore this year finished, I don't know, off 15 catches for 150 yards and 1 touchdown or something. I'd say he'd be Offensive Rookie of the Year over Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. Wow. So that was pretty bad by me.
Not as bad as the Baker Mayfield thing. I think that's undefeated, right?
Yeah, no. That was there's another one that can threaten that, but I don't think so. I think that's going to be the winner of the clubhouse here. Defensive Rookie of the Year. All 3 of us said Aiden Hutchinson. The winner was Sauce Gardner. Again, congrats to Cleve for the Jet winning, getting both of them. However, shout out to Paul, listener, in the chat most days. He said Sauce during the show. We were all going on about Hutch, and then we were arguing about who was better, Hutch or Will Anderson in 2021. And Paul was just like, I think Sauce Gardner is going to win. And we were like, yeah, that's a pretty good choice. But we kind of blew him off, and then there he goes. He was right. But Ben saying here that Hutch got robbed. I mean, Scott, do you think Hutch should have won Defensive Player of the Year or Rookie of the Year?
I mean, I think you can make a case that he could be Rookie of the Year, but Sauce was awesome.
Yeah,
Hutch was too. But I think it's more can be said about a corner impacting the way your defense plays, and the fact that he kind of erased half the field for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressive. So Hutchinson was really good, especially the last half of the season. But to me, it's Sauce.
Let me ask you guys: Is it more so with this award? Do you guys think this? Is it more so like what Scott just said about taking away half the field and or the pressures of a pass rusher or end rusher, edge rusher. I'm sorry, creating havoc so that there's no. It gives it. So okay, let me rephrase. I'm sorry if I'm mumbling. The pass rushing aspect of the game or the edge rushing aspect, does that create more time for receivers and corners to get synced up where it can cause the Sauce to have a better game because the guys are rushing the hell out of the quarterback and they can't get the ball downfield? Is that better? Can that cause that award to be given to a corner
Yeah, I
or
mean,
safety versus edge rusher?
yeah, I think that they go hand in hand. I mean, the idea of Quinnen Williams kind of wrecking shop, and forcing a quarterback to throw the ball a little soon can make your coverage units stand out and play a little better. And the same thing can be said, if you can cover in the back end, maybe the Lions did a reasonable job in coverage the last 10 weeks of the season, and it allowed Hutchinson to get home a little more. I think that they do kind of correlate.
I mean, this is the real question here from Ben. Would you guys rather have Sauce or Hutch on your team? For Scott and I, setting aside the U of M allegiance, I think I'd rather have Sauce.
I think that having an elite corner is more impactful for your defense. I mean, it's great to have pressure and stuff, but
yeah, I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go pressure, because if the quarterback's a statue or the quarterback's an east to west guy versus stepping into the pocket, I think that gives the secondary more time to close on these receivers. Unless you're the outliers like a Justin Jefferson who can just flat out beat you, it doesn't matter. Once the ball's in the air, he's gonna go get it.
Yeah.
So you got those type of receivers that are kind of like the difference makers. But I would take an edge rusher. I mean, we're talking Sauce and Hutch as the subjects here, but if we're talking generically the position, I would say a edge rusher because again, it kind of that's how Nick Bosa. So that makes the argument for like a Nick Bosa because that pressure is unbelievable. That if that quarterback is not a Lamar, they're sitting duck. So
I just want to say that. I just want to point out that we took the other team's player, right? Like the Lions fans want Sauce, the Jets fans wants Hutch, instead of just being happy with what we have, which is that we got.
They're both really good.
That was great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Coach of the year. The winner for Coach of the Year was Brian Daboll, new coach of the New York Giants. Now, I think that somebody got robbed here. I'm a little biased, but that's not the point of this. The point is that Scott, do you remember who you said will win Coach of the Year?
Probably Staley.
That's right. You said Brandon Staley.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Well, there's levels of wrong. Cleve, do you remember who you said would win?
The love
Coach
bug.
of the Year. Yes,
love
you said
bug.
Lovie Smith.
Like I said, drug test me now. I'm probably gonna get like 5 games for like league violation of uncontrolled substance.
You have to piss into a cup for us.
When you said during the episode, when you said Lovie Smith, I said no, Cleve, for the year 2022. You doubled down.
Yeah, I went 10 toes down on the. I went 10 toes, which Dave did try to. Dave should try to talk me off that ledge. I admit, and I an idiot still said Lovie Smith. I don't know what I was thinking.
But there's a level of genius to that, to what you said, though, because I don't think the Texans needed to win a bunch of games for him to get there. Like, if they won 6 games, he should really be in consideration for Coach of the Year. He really should be.
But the thing is, we actually talked about that too, and we didn't come to an agreement, but it's hard to win that award without making the playoffs because say Lovie wins 6 games, well, Daboll still did better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So it's harder to catch in that. Like you have to really, you got to make the playoffs in that situation. Now, I said Nick Sirianni, so I got robbed.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah. We need a Trump recount on that.
Oh, God.
It's just political football, guys.
Well, no, I mean, I don't want a Trump recount because Sirianni should have actually won, right? I don't need Rudy standing in front of some landscape company talking about how Sirianni should have had more votes. with this face dye running down the side of his face or whatever.
Wow.
Comeback player of the year. The winner of comeback player of the year was Geno Smith. Shout out to Geno Smith. That's absolutely fantastic for him.
Yeah, it is.
Before we go any further, what did he come back from?
Sucking.
Yeah, being bad.
Sucking
No,
for years.
So I'm being a little curt here. So when I thought about this award, right, I think about guys who've come back from injuries, who's been out of the league, like a Alex Smith when he tore his leg up and all of that. Like that's a comeback player of the year award, right? Like that's what you think of for that award, not a guy who's been in the league for fucking 10 years and just had a great season, made the Pro Bowl, great. But come back from what? I don't understand when I looked at this award in past, and I'm like, should he have really gotten that?
It's just hard to think of somebody else.
CMC was a comeback player, right?
Yeah, so CMC is who
this year, but in his third. Go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say CMC is who Clev and I predicted for this. Scott said Jameis Winston. But the Jameis Winston thing is the same thing as the Geno Smith thing, right? It's like, oh, you were bad, you got a better opportunity, and now here you are, you did better. I think that giving it to Geno Smith makes a lot of sense. I mean, he didn't come back from having one bad season. He came back from being Geno Smith, right?
But to our point of the CMC thing, CMC left a dog shit team, actually almost made it to the Super Bowl. Like he went to San Fran and became an X factor.
But I mean, there's an element of him getting hurt 2 years ago, missing a bunch of time, and then coming back and being a stud. Which is, I think, Cleve, what you're saying is Geno Smith didn't get hurt and then show up.
He come back. If Geno was hurt when before Russ got traded and he had to battle to get the job and all of that. I mean, he beat out Drew fucking Lock. Like, come on. Come on.
Yeah. Which is amazing because even when I'm not. Well, even when Seattle made that trade, they thought that Locke was one of the reasons why that was such a good move for them. Like,
exactly.
They still thought it.
So,
Ben saying there?
Yeah, Ben says, what are the odds that DeMar Hamlin wins comeback player of the year next year? Well, they're either 0% or 100%. If he steps on the field for one play, he's winning that award.
Yeah.
However, I don't know that he's playing again. So,
I found it interesting that DeMaurice Smith said he was so rock certain about it, too, that he guaranteed that Hamlin would play again. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know that you can make that guarantee. He's got a long way to go.
Yeah, I mean, you're willfully putting a guy on the field that had a heart condition. Like you're willfully doing that, with no knowledge of it or any pre-existing knowledge of it. That's one thing. When you test guys out in the combines and stuff like that, and physicals and stuff, and that comes up later. That's different. But you're willfully knowing the whole country saw this, the world saw this, and you're gonna put this guy back into a lineup.
Yeah,
a year later. I don't know about that.
Yeah. So I don't think that he's likely to win it next year. Anyway, shout out to Geno Smith for winning this award. As he so eloquently said, they wrote him off, but he ain't right back though. So good for Geno. All right. So after that, we got into some statistical categories where, man, most passing yards. No, the player who threw for the most yards in the NFL was Patrick Mahomes. Again, reasonable thing to guess. Did any of us guess him? No. Cleveland Scott said Justin Herbert.
Oops.
Wow.
Now, in hindsight, terrible. But you guys really didn't know that he was going to be allowed to throw the ball more than 3 yards downfield all season. So,
you know what? Honestly, I should have known because Joe Lombardi was their coordinator. It should not. I'm a moron for making that choice. Seriously.
Well, not as big of a moron as me because I said Derek Carr.
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. I said Derek Carr would lead the NFL in passing yards.
Well, I think we all thought it was going to come together out in Vegas with
Devontae
McDaniels, or is that
Well, the thing, what I actually said was, I wish I could find a bet where I could just bet on a quarterback from the AFC West.
Yeah.
And that's what I said during the episode. And so Mahomes won. So that bet, of course, would have hit. But I actually picked Derek Carr to lead the NFL in passing. My goodness. So yeah, that was pretty bad. Now
Baker's-
well, yeah, you would need it to be Baker. You need a Baker to
yeah,
sweep
it's
every category.
it's under it's undefeated. It's going to be undefeated.
Oh yeah, Lovie Smith didn't beat it. Yeah, Baker's the worst pick on here for by far. I'm pretty sure.
Is the leader in the clubhouse.
It is. It is with like a 19 stroke lead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uncatchable.
And there's a thunderstorm now, and all the caddies quit, and the course is flooding. All right. So most passing touchdowns. The winner was Mahomes. This is easy to see. I said Mahomes. Cleve said Mahomes. Scott said Kirk Cousins.
Woo!
Yep. I was wrong again.
I don't think Kirk Cousins.
Absolutely.
Your logic was sound, Scott. You said he's thrown like 35 touchdowns 2 years in a row. Now they got the offensive coordinator from the Rams as head coach. Jefferson's coming into his own. The logic made sense, but it's just like Kirk Cousins most touchdowns, Derek Carr most yards. What were we thinking, Scott?
I don't know the logic. Whatever I said, I'm sure it did not make sense because when you tell me I made that prediction, it sounds ridiculous. It really does sound nuts. Yeah, not great.
Yeah. Now we have one here where not only did Scott and I predict wrong, but Scott is going to have to just own up to something here. So,
oh boy,
most quarterback rushing yards. Now, Cleve said Lamar Jackson. Cleve, that's a great guess. He got hurt. That's solid. Scott and I said Trey Lance. Probably
what
a good
else
guess.
did Scott say?
No, the issue is that the winner, the quarterback who rushed for the most yards, was Justin Fields.
Yeah.
So, are you finally ready to admit that Justin Fields is now and was then and has always been a better NFL prospect than Zach Wilson?
No.
Wow, Scott, seriously, we're
talking NFL prospect. We're talking about what it looked like in the draft process.
Jets games? Did you
What's
watch
that?
any of the Jets? Did you watch any of the Jets games? Did you watch Jets games this week?
See, I think the question is nullified by whatever happens as we go forward.
No. Because this reason this doesn't apply here is because this is not new data. Justin Fields had great physical stature, great speed, and ran at Ohio State. It's not a shock that he's doing this in the NFL. It's not Brock Purdy coming out of nowhere like, oh, Brock Purdy better prospect than Zach Wilson. Like, nobody would have said that. People were saying it at the time, right? Justin Fields was the second best quarterback prospect in that class. He was at the time. He was now.
There's not a lot of people saying that. There just weren't. There weren't.
At the time, Scott? At the time,
there were not a lot of people saying that. There
now,
were not.
So to Dave's point, he's saying, do you now think that, or you're still going on the project?
I would be a total moron to tell you that Zach Wilson is a better player right now going forward than Justin Fields. It's crazy. Okay. But in the run-up to the draft, there wasn't a lot of people who did think that Fields was a better prospect than Zach Wilson. There just weren't. We're going to do it again with CJ Stroud. Yeah.
Coach says you could cut off one of Justin Fields' arms, and he still would have been a better prospect than Zach Wilson.
Probably throwing arm.
Yeah, you can cut off the right arm because it doesn't really mean much to his game.
Scott just unwilling to give up that Justin Fields has always been the man. That's all right. I'll take that one. That'll be yours. I said the Bucs were frauds. They won the Super Bowl. Cleve said DK Metcalf was a bust, and he's awesome. You think Zach Wilson is better than Justin Fields? It happens.
I don't think he is. I don't think he is. I think he was a better prospect. That's all.
I don't. God, I got it.
We're going to do it this year with Will Levis over guys like CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. Okay. We're going to do it again.
I don't know who you mean by we, but we are not taking Will Levis over Bryce Young and CJ Stroud.
The
Zach Wilson.
And my guess is Antonio Richardson goes in front of him too.
Now, is he related to Anthony Richardson?
Antonio Richardson is a stage name, and that's all I can see. Anthony Richardson would probably go ahead of Stroud.
gives
will.
new roots and new branches to someone's family. Just gives them a prospect.
I'm just going to start calling him Mr. Richardson. That way I take out the
Don't get-
problems. It's amazing because I can't get his first name right, but I mess up everybody else's last name. It's the craziest thing.
Yep. So now that was most QB rushing yards. Now we have most rushing yards in general. Cleve, who led the NFL in rushing this year? Is he not answering, or did we lose him? Scott, who led the NFL in rushing this year?
Was it Austin Eckler?
It was not. It was Josh Jacobs.
Oh, yeah. Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing this year. Now, Scott guessed Jonathan Taylor. Very reasonable guess.
Yeah, good guess.
Now, Cleve guessed somebody named Johnson Talent.
What?
I think it's Jonathan Taylor, but Cleve did guess Johnson Talent as the guy to lead the league in
Jonathan
rushing.
Taylor for sure. Johnson Talent. Wow.
He said Johnson Talent.
Is that Cleve? Is that your stage name?
Hey, I said Max Allen.
Yeah, Max Allen and Johnson Talent. But yes, I'm pretty sure you met Jonathan Taylor. And then I guess Ramondre Stevenson at 60-1, which came a lot closer than 60-1. So
yeah, that's actually a smooth call, Dave, because just thinking about how much they were going to run the ball.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Most rushing touchdowns. This is interesting. We all guessed 3 different names and we were all wrong. So Scott guessed Jonathan Taylor. Cleve guessed Christian
McCaffrey for him.
Yeah, you were. Cleve guessed Christian McCaffrey. I guessed Nick Chubb. All reasonable guesses. Cleve, what player led the NFL in rushing touchdowns?
Rushing touchdowns?
I know who it is.
Yeah.
I think we could give Cleve 50 guesses and he probably wouldn't get it.
Yeah. Cleve, it was Jamal Williams of the Detroit Lions.
I mean, he had a great season, but I didn't choose the touchdowns to match.
He had 17, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He had 17. Derrick Henry was second with 13.
That's nuts, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a huge. I mean, of all the names on this, like people who won the list, Jamal Williams is the one that stands out as like being particularly out there. Most running back receiving yards. The winner was Christian McCaffrey. Cleve and I said McCaffrey. Scott said Austin Eckler. This is like the first one where everything was reasonable. The winner was reasonable. The guesses were reasonable. This is like the first one where things went correct.
We guessed a ton of shit. We had to come up with one.
Yes. Now, this is interesting. For most receptions, most receiving yards, and most receiving TDs, the Triple Crown, I guessed Justin Jefferson. Scott guessed Devontae Adams. Cleve broke it up. Cleve said Cooper Kupp most receptions, Jamar Chase receiving yards and touchdowns. Jefferson got the first 2. Adams got the last one. So, Scott, you and I kind of split this.
I mean, a third of I got a third. You got 2/3.
Yeah. And honestly, Jamar Chase got hurt, or he might have had something to say about this. So I thought that one was pretty reasonable. However, Scott, this is where it ends for us. Which team will earn the number 1 overall pick? Not which team will pick first, because they could trade it or have already traded it. But which team will earn the number 1 pick?
I know where we went, and this is terrible.
So Cleve said the Cleveland Browns.
He was closer than you and I were.
Yes. Scott and I said the Seattle Seahawks.
Honestly, I thought the Seahawks were going to be like a 1-win team.
Me too. We said the Seattle Seahawks.
Was that after or before the 40 burger?
That was
That was before.
It would have been before, because it would have been right before. Yeah, so it would have been just right before. I actually said on tape, I thought about editing it out, to be honest. I actually said it was a mortal lock that the Seahawks were going to pick first.
Wow. 10 toes down like I was.
Yeah, mortal lock.
I was convinced.
They won, what, 9 games?
Yeah. Yep. We were off by half a season of wins.
Yeah. Not too bad. So that's who the number 1 pick. Now, interesting. Only 2 more left. Super Bowl matchup. Of course, the Super Bowl matchup is the Chiefs and the Eagles, and we're going to end with our predictions of who's going to win here shortly. Super Bowl matchup. Scott, you said the 49ers versus the Bills. Pretty sharp. 49ers make the Final Four. Bills are great, make the Elite Eight. Cleve said the Bengals versus the Bucks, which feels worse because the Bucks weren't good, but I still think was pretty sharp, all things considered, Cleve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying not to bet against Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said. You said you didn't want to bet against Tom Brady. He had one more in him. And you had the Bengals going back again, and they made the AFC title game. I mean, that's really good. Now, I said the Ravens versus the Eagles. This close.
You were close, yeah.
This close. And I got the hard side.
Yeah.
Right? I got that. No, the Chiefs would have been easier to say. None of us said the Chiefs. And then, of course, to predict the winner at the time, I said the Ravens. I didn't even take the Eagles. I said the Ravens. Cleve said the Bucks. Scott said the Bills. So none of us are going to get it right. However, Scott, in hindsight, like, do you think the Bills are the best team in the AFC, or were they just Josh Allen and not much else this season?
I think the Josh Allen injury played a pretty significant role. And I think what ends up happening is that their inability to run the ball and have a secondary weapon, reliable second option outside of Diggs was really problematic for them. I just think their problems were generally on offense. I know that on defense they didn't play great the back grouping of games, but the whole on offense is a problem that they need to fix. They really do.
Yeah, no, I agree. Cleve, you took the Bucks to win the Super Bowl here. It didn't work out. Did you anticipate the offense, even with Brady and Evans and Godwin, being as bad as it was? Or did you sort of expect that, but think the division was bad, they'd make it anyways?
Yeah, I think the latter of the two. I think the division being bad led to that. And then I thought Brady would overcome Todd Bowles' awful coaching. And will these guys kind of into winning. So that's where I kind of headed with that.
All right. So in a couple minutes here, we're going to welcome Iceman back. He's going to set up for reading the defense here at the top of the hour. But before we do that, it's time for our official predictions, you guys. We need score and winner and score of the game. Scott, you're first.
First, huh?
I'm going to ask this.
Yeah, I have no idea. Let's go Philly 31, Chiefs 24.
Now, do you think this is a last-second pull away from Philly, or is this a 31-17 Chiefs score again later sort of thing to make it 7?
I think it's more the latter. The Eagles kind of run away with it a little bit and sit on the ball towards the end of the game, kind of stuff.
Okay, so a 7-point win that's more comfortable for the Eagles. Cleve, what do you say?
Chiefs 42, Eagles 27.
Chiefs to win by 14.5. Go ahead and find that alternate line, Cleve. You're going to like the number you're going to get. I think, I could see something like this happening. I can see the Chiefs just being hyper efficient, the pass rush not getting there, and them just running it up. I don't think, obviously the total here, that's a total of 69, nice, is aggressive, but I don't think that the idea of it is that crazy, that the Chiefs are just have this huge, massive offensive explosion sort of thing. For me, Philly's favored by 1.5. I really do like Philly here. I'm going to go Philly 27, KC 24. Last second walk-off field goal for Philly to win it.
Wow.
Yep.
That would be exciting.
We're going to bring back in Matty Ice here, going to read the defense, and Coach is with us as well. Matty Ice and Coach, welcome to Political Football.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Hey.
Coming in?
Come
on.
So,
hold up.
Go ahead. Oh, we got the MVP.
My phone?
All right.
Go ahead.
Yo, Matty Ice, you got to introduce the Political Football audience to who this is here.
All right, my man. What's your name? What's your name, dude? You can spell it, so you can say it. What's your name? Go ahead. Tell everybody. That's Uncle Cleve right there. You see him? He's frozen, but he's there. What's your name? Hey, who's going to win the Super Bowl? The Eagles or the Chiefs?
Chiefs.
Okay. Official Super Bowl prediction: the Chiefs.
All right, there we go.
Yes.
I'm writing that down.
He's writing that down. All right, you want to tell him your name now that you told him who's going to win the Super Bowl? What is your name? All right, screw him. Are you ready to let the? Yeah.
It's the big stage out here, on YouTube. So I wouldn't be, he doesn't want to dox himself. That's all. He doesn't want to put his info out there.
Daddy, what? All right, he's off. Say bye-bye.
Bye. Coach, last hour you took the Eagles to win the game to cover the 1.5. Do you have an actual score prediction or just that the Eagles will cover?
No, I just think the Eagles cover. I don't have a score prediction, although I do think it'll be a high-scoring affair.
Okay. Eagles cover, high scoring, like that. Matty Ice has disappeared.
Yeah.
We'll just assume he's taking the Patriots.
Be a low scoring.
What's that, Cleve?
Dave, why do you think it's gonna be low scoring? Why do you think it's gonna be low scoring? You guys.
So I didn't take it to be low scoring. The total is 50.5, and I took it to be 51. So I took it right at the number.
Okay.
27-24 feels low scoring, but that's still 3 touchdowns per team.
Yeah.
That's not that's not too
But in
bad.
this
So
matchup, doesn't that feel like not enough?
Kinda,
These
yeah.
offenses?
Yeah, that's why I say that.
Yeah. Although Cleve, you and I both have.
It's hard to imagine the league. Go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say you and I both have the Eagles scoring 27. It's just what we have the Chiefs doing around it. So you're just much higher on the Chiefs than I am. Is what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say that the league MVP is not going to go out there and light it up. And again, if they get ahead, Andy Reid's off, they're gonna like flame base these guys. If they get ahead, they're gonna pour it on. They're gonna get exotic, and they're gonna pour it on.
Yeah, I completely agree with that right there. Scott, do you have off the cuff prediction for Super Bowl MVP?
No, it could be like you have the Goddard thing going on. I don't know that it'll be somebody that we absolutely think it'd be easy to pick Mahomes or easy to pick Hurts. It would be easy to pick Kelsey or AJ Brown. I could see Devontae Smith being MVP. I could.
I think Devontae Smith is a really good call. Now, Matty Ice, this is going to shock you. I have a $5 bet at 150-1 Super Bowl MVP Kadarius Toney.
Shouldn't it be Nick Fangio? Because wasn't he like a 2-week contract for the Eagles? A fucking mercenary.
Yes, Vic Fangio has come in to hang out for a little bit.
Is he getting a ring?
Hey, Dave.
If they win? Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Probably get whatever he wants.
What a Merc move. I got this ring. I did 2 weeks worth of work. That's like the job we all want.
Yeah. I love it. What's up, Cleve?
No, you think if that hits, are you going to donate your wins to like his charity, Tony?
No, if that hits, I'm going to donate the wins to my wedding.
Yeah. That money's already been spent there, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things. One, obviously. Two, the fiance's in earshot. Obviously, that money's going straight to the wedding. And
I can't believe you even brought it up, Dave.
My fashionably late co-host has a take.
Okay, here we go. What's up?
All right, so here's the deal. If the Eagles actually win this game, I think it could come down to Hassan Reddick having a phenomenal day and shutting down Patrick Mahomes. Otherwise, I don't know that it happens. And I think if that happens, you could see that position being an MVP. Because reality-wise, the MVP is either a defensive end or a quarterback. It's almost never been anybody else. So that's my thought.
That's
yeah,
fair.
I think it's a really I think Hassan Reddick is a good bet for that specifically as well. I would say him or Josh Sweat, but same principle. Same principle. So thank you everybody who tuned in. This is Political Football here during Big Game Pre-Show Bedlam. This has been really fun. It's a great idea from the President Network here, Matty Ice. We're going to get out of here, turn it over to Reading the Defense. And follow us. We got our link for our YouTube there as well. We can see our Twitter scrolling there at Political FB Pod as well. Come give us a follow. We do a show once a week talking about all sorts of stuff, the games, politics, how politics intersect with the games, all that. And Matty Ice, take it away.
Thank you, sir. And congrats to Lovie Smith on winning Coach of the Year.